Hello and welcome to the Internship Studio on AutoCAD Essentials. I am Prabhakaran, Autodesk Certified Associate with you. This is our session number 12. We are in the discussion of function keys. Today we are going to discuss the function keys F5, F6, F7 and F8. F5 is the function key used to keep the points exactly on the isometric mode. The function of this key we will detailedly discuss when we draw the isometric drawing. Okay. Now we go for the next function key F6. F6 is nothing but dynamic UCS, on as well as off. UCS means what? User coordinate system. You see here in our AutoCAD we are seeing this x-axis, y-axis. This is called user coordinate system. So this is a representation for the user, which is the x, which is the y. Okay. So this user coordinate system we can shift anywhere. That is called dynamic UCS. Mostly this will use for three-dimensional objects. Now we are concentrating on only two dimensions. Okay. When we go for three dimension, frequently we use this function key F6. Even though, let us see what is that mean by dynamic UCS on the three-dimension object. This is a x direction, y direction only. This is a 2D drafting screen. Just go to the wheel, press the lower left corner of the box. You will shift to the X, Y, Z. Now you can see X direction, Y direction as well as Z direction. Let me construct this solid. I'm going to convert this 2D into the solid. I got the box. Now my user coordinate system at the base of this box. Now I have to shift this X and Y to my required face. So let me bring to this front face. What I have to do now? So let me go there. Let me draw some two dimension on this particular face. Just move mouse near to the particular face. The particular face will get activated. Just click that point. Automatically your X and Y will shift to that particular face. Okay. This is called a dynamic UCS. You can shift anywhere. Again, let me do that. I'm going to construct some object on this face. Now my left face is active. Just click on the face. Your X and Y will change according to the face what you selected. Now your X and Y is parallel to the particular face. That means what? Always you can draw two dimension on X and Y only. Okay. Now once I construct this object, automatically shift to the original space. Okay. So this is the object I created using the dynamic UCS. Okay. So elaborately we will discuss this during our 3D modeling. The corresponding status bar icon is this one here. This is default, it is on only. Okay. I have to go back to my two-dimensional screen. What I have to do now? Go to the wheel. There is a box inside. Click on top. Your three-dimensional screen shifted to two-dimension. Okay. Now you are seeing X direction, Y direction, and the Z direction is normal to our view. Okay. Next important is F7. That is called grid display on as well as off. What is it grid? As I said before, our AutoCAD screen has an imaginary graph sheet, right? You see here, this is called a grid lines, or I can say graph lines. You like to control this display. You want to control this grid lines. We can go for F7 function key. Okay, right. The corresponding status bar icon for F7 is this one. Okay, just press this button, it will become off. That means what? Your graph sheet is hidden now. Again, if you switch on, it will come. This is the grid display control box. Okay. So from here, we can control and modify the settings of our grid lines. Okay. Just right click over the grid mode and you go to the grid settings. You will get the grid dialog box. Okay, grid style, display dotted grid. Now we have a grid as a line. If you want to see as a dots, okay, you can see, right? So the intersection points of those grid lines as shown as a points. Again, grid settings. So these grid settings, do you want to see on sheets also, on the layout also. Just check this box. Okay. Next is grid spacing, grid X spacing and grid Y spacing. Now you are seeing the graph lines. Okay. You can see here 10 mm, 20 mm, 30 mm, 40 mm, 50 mm. This is X spacing. The similar way 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 Y spacing. So after 5 divisions, you will have the major line. So this major line indicates the 50 mm. Okay. So each division takes 10 mm, 10 mm, 10 mm. Okay. Now we can understand this is 50 mm. Okay. Let me check now. Line 0, 0. So at 50 in the direction of 0. You see here exactly 50. Then at 20 in the direction of 90. You see here 10, 20. Okay. At 30 in the direction of 0. So it is exactly on 10 mm gap. Okay. Now I'm going to redefine this X spacing and Y spacing. I want to keep X spacing 5 mm of each line. Once you change 5, automatically the same value will taken for Y also. Okay. Right. So the major division, that means the major line, I want to keep every 3 mm. So that means what? So now we have every division is 10 mm. Now I'm going to keep every division going to be 5 mm, 5 mm, X and Y, and every 3 I'm going to have a major line. According to our wish, we can redefine this one. Okay. You see here 5, 10, 15. So after 3 divisions, you will have a major line. Okay. Let me check now. X0, Y0. Okay. Let me check at 15 in the direction of 90. Okay. This is exactly 15. At 5 in the direction of 0. Okay. So why it is needed? Just to by tracing the mouse over the line easily, we can construct the lines. That is why these grid lines we can redefine. Later we can draw object using these grid lines. Okay. Now we can see the grid lines in all the directions. If you zoom out or zoom in, we can see the grids. But our paper size is different. Our screen display is different. You want to control your display, you go there, look at the grid behavior. You see here, display grid beyond limits. That means what? You are displaying the grids beyond your limits. Just you remove this tick mark, give OK. Now you can see this is your paper size. A4. You can see here line 0, 0, 420, 297. You see here. So the grid is displaying only within our limit size. So by this we can identify whether we are drawing within the limits or outside the limits. This is another way we can control our drawing. Let me redefine this X spacing, Y spacing in 10, 10, and every 5 division we will get the major line. Okay. Now let me zoom this point. What is happening? Line 10, 10 at 50 in the direction of 0, 20 in the direction of 90. If you zoom in or zoom out, so the density of the grid, that means the gap between the grid, it is not adjusting according to our zoom in, zoom out. Okay. It is fixed. If you want to adjust that also, okay, allow subdivision below grid spacing. Just now, you see here, if you zoom in further, the density of the grid lines will be adjusted according to our zoom in, zoom out. Okay. You can see the major division lines and X spacing, Y spacing of the grids. Okay. Right. This is all about the grid. Okay. Next important function key is F8. F8 is ortho on off. Generally, orthographic is what? Representing a component in a three-dimensional way. That means front, top, side. Okay. So this is an orthographic view. So if you want to control your movement of the cursor only in X and Y, we can use this ortho mode. Okay. This is the corresponding status bar icon for ortho on off. I'm going to start the line from the origin. Move the mouse will come at any directions without any restrictions. Okay, just you can draw like anything. Now, if you want to control your movement of the mouse only in X and Y, or otherwise I can say, you can see the cursor, it shows the 4 angle 0, 90, 180, 270. If you want to control your movement of the mouse only on this 4 direction of the cursor, you can use F8. What is the use of this key? Let me see here. I'm going to start the line 0, 0. Now I'm going to press F8, or I can press this button, ortho button. Okay, just press. Now it is on. You can move the mouse anywhere. I'm moving the mouse in a right upward, but the line comes only in the X or Y only. Okay, just you have to give the distance, that's all. The angle of the line is defined by the ortho. Just give value 50. Okay, just move the mouse 25. Give the value 50. Just move the mouse 25. Enter. Now I drawn a line with giving only the distance of the line. There is no at symbol, there is no angle symbol, there is no angle value at all. Okay, just by entering the distance of the line, we can construct the object. Okay, only X direction, Y direction lines we can construct. Okay, so this is our end of session number 12. Next session, we are going to discuss about the function key F9 and F10. Okay, thank you.